morning, everyone. It's really good to see you all. And I want to start with this. We're in the last week of the first quarter. Yep, it's actually really exciting because whether your Q1 was exactly what you wanted or not quite where you had hoped, you still have plenty of runway for your year. So some of you have built great momentum already, and some of you are just getting going, and some of you are about to hit your stride. All of that's normal. All of that's part of the process, but this week is important because it's where you decide where you're going to be walking into Q2. Are you going to be more intentional, more focused, and more clear on what's actually going to move your business forward? And that's exactly why today matters. So we've got a packed meeting this morning. We've got some guest speakers, some really important announcements, and things you can actually take and implement right away. So we're also going to talk about something that's really been dominating the headlines right now with Zillow Preview, what it actually means, and things you can actually should be paying attention to when that kind of comes down the pike here next month. Because every time something like this happens in our industry, and I feel like we have something big like this every year now, people either react or they prepare. So are we ready to get into it? All right, excellent. I want to take a quick moment to ground us in something that's bigger than the production and the business. At KW, as you know, we don't just talk about growth, we talk about how we grow and why we grow. And that's where our mission, vision, and values is going to come into play. So they're not just words on a slide, they're meant to show up in how we do our business every day and how we show up for each other and for our communities. And one of the best examples of this is Red Day. If you're newer to KW, Red Day stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate, and it's Keller Williams' annual day of service. It's a day where across the entire company, globally, we step away from our businesses and we give back to the communities that we serve. It's one of those days that really reminds you that this is bigger than the transactions and it's really about the impact and who we serve. This year, Red Day is coming up quick. It's going to be Thursday, May 14th. So keep an eye out for a communication from Kathleen. She'll have all the specifics on how you can get involved. And we'll spend some more time on this in the coming week because it's something we really want everyone to be a part of. But for now, just start thinking about how and where you want to show up that day and the impact that we can make together as a group. I have to thank Cream City Mortgage. They got kicked off the agenda last week. So we're going to go ahead and get started right away with John Olla from Cream City, who has some updates that are fresh off the press as of this morning. Click that.
Click that. Yeah.
That when you're ready.
All right.
This is what they can see.
Okay, sweet. What's up, everybody? All right, so not too much exciting news in terms of rates. Unfortunately, things have kind of gone up over the last couple of weeks. With the war, with everything going up in terms of inflation, that's dramatically hit rates. So just to kind of keep you aware, gone are the days of rates just under 6. So just kind of prepare your buyers for that. I'd say one of the biggest driving factors into, kind of why rates have gone up is going to be oil prices rising. Now, not a direct correlation, but just something to kind of pay attention to. For example, in February, oil was trading at around $60 per barrel. Right now, it's over $100. So that's why we've seen rates kind of jump up about 0.5%. I'd say right now we're right around the 6.4, 6.5 range. So yesterday was the first time we kind of saw rates drop a little bit since the last 2.5 weeks. So being optimistic, hopefully we see rates, kind of rebound back to where they were in February. So just to kind of keep paying attention to that. Quick mortgage trivia for you guys. Does anyone know what the highest average mortgage rate was in US history? It was C. Does anyone know the year? Close. 81. Yep. That's correct. Nice work. Yeah. Yeah, so that's really about it today. I know we have a packed schedule, so just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of where we are on rates, why they're rising, and feel free to reach out if you have any other questions.
Hattie Eubanks knew that right away. So we'll get you a prize from Cream City. All right, next up we have Lindsey, who's going to be going through some marketing and tech updates.
Hi, Lindsey.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. So just some reminders regarding our marketing concierge. So I can't screen, but that's okay. So specifically for our productivity coaching agents, oh, cute. So if you're in the PC program, just want to remind you guys that you have access to our full library of all of our templated marketing materials while you're in that program. Once you've completed your first 5 transactions and graduated from that program, you'll become eligible for any custom marketing requests or any custom logo creation if you need that. So we've got a bunch of materials that are really geared towards helping you with building your business and helping you through those first 5 transactions. One of those is a new agent package. So that includes business cards, an email signature, and then an announcement that you can post on social media, just announcing that you've got your license, that you're with Keller Williams. So we've got all of those templated materials that help you get started. And then just a reminder as well of where to find the marketing concierge. We've been getting some agents looking around on our website, filling out some different forms. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows exactly where you can find these materials along with all of the additional information. So when you go to our website, kwrealtymke.com, you'll hover over that agent tab in the upper right corner and then choose the marketing concierge. So this will list out all of the available materials that we have. And then it'll also include where you can order those items. If you click into yard signs, it'll have all of the specific yard sign options for you, including pricing as well. So just another reminder of what some of those materials include. So like I mentioned, the new agent marketing, we also have those buyer and seller guides. So if you need something prepared for you to take to a buyer consultation, a listing appointment, we have those materials ready to go and we can personalize all of those for you. You'll just hit that order button, fill out the form with the information that we need to prepare those for you. And like Mandy said, it's spring market. It's the last week of the first quarter, so spring market is really getting going. And we have listing marketing. So if you have a lot of listings and you need some leverage, let us create your listing flyers, your listing brochures, just listed, just sold postcards, social media posts if you're holding open houses, if you have a coming soon, anything like that, along with yard signs, like I mentioned earlier. So all of those items are included in our marketing concierge for you to order today. And then if you need anything printed, just a reminder that we do work with some really great local print partners around the Milwaukee area. So all of the digital materials are free. So when you go to the marketing concierge and you click order, you fill out a form, you're not getting charged for anything. The creation of those digital files are 100% free. The only time you'll be charged is if we're ordering business cards, yard signs, or then if you're ordering listing materials such as flyers or brochures that we're sending to the printer to get printed. And our team can help facilitate and coordinate getting those orders to those printers. All right. And then one final thing, we talked about this last week. We have Battle of the Vibes coming up. So thank you for those who have signed up. If you signed up, you're going to be getting an email today from me, just confirming your participation. And then by the end of the week, you're going to be getting the final bracket, along with the rules and the deadlines for when to submit that first video. So we've got that ready to go. We're really excited to start Battle of the Vibes in the next couple of weeks here. And that's it. Thanks, guys.
Good morning. I'm super quick today. Just like touch it.
Oh, with your cursor.
Oh, okay. Okay, 2 quick things. So just a reminder on how to do outgoing referrals. We get this question a lot, so we just wanted to remind everybody. In the app, if you go to you can download both the referral form and the W-9 from the KW app. So you want to go to the app, resources, and then forms, and both items are listed there. You need to set up the signatures for yourself and the managing broker of your office. And then once those are both signed, you want to send the referral agreement and the W-9 to the brokerage you're sending the referral to. And then in Command, you're just going to create an opportunity. And instead of choosing like what you normally would for the documents checklist, you would choose outgoing referral. And then that just has a W-9 and the outgoing referral form slot in there for you. That way, the MCA office knows that when the check shows up, that's where it's supposed to go. And then another thing we've been running across lately is people forgetting to choose agency disclosure on the top. So remember to choose which type of agency at the top, strike out the opposite lines, and then we don't have to send you a message. And then lastly, the compliance helpline, 8 to 8 every day. You can also text the line. So if you don't have time to call, you're in the middle of like a hot situation and you need some advice, feel free to text as well, but calling works. That's it.
All right, moving into our industry update that I hinted about. So right now our industry is going through one of the biggest shifts that we've seen in a while. So I feel like we are saying this every year. This time it doesn't have anything to do with pricing. It doesn't have anything to do with inventory, but it's more about the control. Control of the listing, control of the exposure, and control of the consumer. At the same reason why this matters is simple. The way listings are handled today is going to end up determining who gets the leads, who gets paid, and who's going to get left out of the transaction. So in order to kind of look at where we're at now, we're going to do a quick history lesson and take a step back for a moment because it's important to understand how we got here. The way real estate operates right now with the MLS portals and listings, that didn't just happen. It evolved. And every shift has been about one thing: who controls access to the consumer. So back in the 1960s and through the 1980s, the MLS was simple and it was extremely controlled. So we're talking physical booklets. Those hot sheets were physical. There were pamphlets. Agents shared listings with each other. And if you weren't in the network, you didn't see the inventory. In the 1990s, everything changed with the launch of the internet, and everything went digital. So Realtor.com was launched, and originally when Realtor.com was launched, it was actually private, and then it opened up to the public. And that moment matters because when that happened, that's when the consumers started to get access to the information, not just those of you who are in the room. In the early 2000s, then we had the invention of the IDX. So now listings weren't just in a public realtor.com, but they were everywhere. And that's when portals were born. We had the invention of Redfin and Trulia and then Zillow. And now we've fully shifted to public access, scale, and full availability to the information. So the way the industry responded to this was with the clear cooperation policy. So this was built around three core ideas. First, the one business day rule, which basically says that if you're in the public market, it needs to go into the MLS within one business day. Second, the definition of public marketing. Public marketing means everything: social, email, signs, digital, you name it. And then thirdly, your office exclusives. So these are allowed, but they need to stay private. So the intent is simple with clear cooperation. If it's public, it must be shared. So that really was built to protect transparency, protect access, as well as protect the consumer. So really this policy is about one thing: if it's public, it needs to be shared. Then there was another evolution. Last year in 2025, NAR introduced the multiple listing options for sellers. So now we're adding on top of that another layer that involves flexibility. So sellers can delay public marketing. Agents can have one-to-one conversations without triggering those local MLS rules. Local MLSs are in charge of this and can decide how this works. Most importantly, the seller must give consent. So that last part is what really matters because you see that power shifting to the homeowner. Okay, enough about the history lesson. We'll just go into now what happened over the last week. So in February, Compass and Anywhere announced their venture with Redfin. Redfin is the #4 consumer search portal in terms of eyeballs, and they agreed they were going to start to push two things, coming soon listings and private listings on a public site. So now this is a really big deal from everything I just shared, and all of a sudden the quote unquote private listings are posted to Redfin because they are no longer private. So everyone was looking at NAR to make a statement, and you can see their statement here is basically, we don't have a statement. They essentially said the listings are a matter of local discretion and pushed it back to the local MLSs for them to make their decisions, which means we're no longer in a single unified system, we're in a competitive one. You following? Okay, now we're going to talk about the portals. So this is where the world kind of stacks up in terms of the consumer. This is where our scale shows. You can see Zillow and Trulia are at almost 219 million monthly visits. Realtor.com, 72.5. Redfin, 57, and Homes.com at 35. So that's not even close. All this is to tell us that the attention of the consumer lives on these portals. So knowing that, what do I personally believe? Truthfully, my beliefs on the portal haven't really changed. If it works for your business, then you should work with them, as well as, always keeping an eye on your database and making sure that you're providing the best for your buyers and sellers. I found this quote interesting from Gary and the way, we're looking at this. So I shared how I feel. This is what he says. This is from an op-ed that came out last week. I highly suggest reading the whole thing if you want more kind of clarity and speaking points for your buyers and sellers. But he says, we believe in an open market that serves consumers the best. Sellers should have the opportunity to reach the broadest pool of potential buyers, if they choose to do so, because competition generally benefits the homeowner. At the same time, sellers should always retain the right to set the parameters around how their home is marketed. Information, marketing plan, timing, showing rules, offer management, those decisions belong to the homeowner. Our job as professionals is to fully disclose and explain the options and let the seller decide. So now we're going to look at the new products that rolled out. This idea behind coming soon listings is simple. A homeowner has decided to sell their property and given the agent permission to let the market know that the home will be available soon. This allows the listing agent a window to begin generating interest from buyers before the seller is ready to accept an offer. This isn't new. This has been done for decades. What is new is now where those are going to show up. Now, instead of being limited to the MLS, they can be seen by the entire public. This is where things are different. This is going to create more demand, more visibility, and more expectations from your sellers. We love that. And now this becomes a strategic tool that you have to get more visibility, get more leads, and get more income, which I'll get into. So this is where things get even more interesting. Zillow introduces the preview listing program. This allows listings to not be fully in the MLS yet and not be shared broadly, but still be publicly visible, especially on Zillow. So it's not fully entered into the MLS, it's not publicly marketed, or it's in MLS, but it's not being shared broadly. So now it can be displayed on Zillow agent sites, or social media. All are still technically now compliant. Last week, Keller Williams Realty International, KWRI, made a decision and announced that they have this new partnership with Zillow that's going to allow this for agents who are affiliated with Keller Williams and can take this new relationship and narrative around coming soons to that next level. So we're going to break down now what this program is now that we have more information after last week. This program is essentially made up of 5 key components. I'll go into detail on them after, but it's 1, the market center, which is your leadership team can choose to opt in or not. 2, prominent listing agent contact information. 3, listing agent referral opportunity. 4, the listing brand badging, and 5, days on market and price history are the seller's choice. So starting with the market center choice, it's now the agreement with KWRI and Zillow is a blanketed agreement that now all local market centers have the option based on their current MLSs. If this is going to be a benefit for their specific markets, we believe that it is. This will be coming to KW Milwaukee.
Yep. Has our MLS had any input on this?
Not that we know of yet, no. And we will be working through that as needed. They did work with all MLSs. They have KWRI has spoken to all local MLSs, and all of the rules they have said are baked in. So it should be a smooth transition, but that being said, we're prepared for, whatever. Prominent listing agent contact information. For each listing and preview listing status, the listing agent's contact information will be prominently displayed. There's also a button that consumers can click on to contact the listing agent directly, which they will then get via email. Each page also has a button for requesting a tour for those who are not comfortable contacting the listing agent, who will then be offered the opportunity to work with a Zillow Preferred agent. So the consumer gets to choose if they want to interact with the listing agent directly or if they want to see that property with another Zillow Preferred agent. Listing agent referral opportunity. This is that second opportunity for referral income. So the way this works is when a lead comes off one of your listings and they end up working with one of those other agents that they selected. So they clicked the schedule a tour with someone other than you, and they close within the next 90 days. That's when it's a referral opportunity. When they built this, they looked at the data, and what they saw is that the vast majority of the leads that are created on a listing that was viewed online happen within the first 72 hours that they are on that search portal. So this puts you square in line for that lead generation advancement. Not everyone that buys a home, obviously, but the majority of the ones that do come across it within those first 72 hours. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works with an example. Imagine the total GCI is $12,500. That Zillow Preferred fee that agent who took them through the transaction pays Zillow that 40%, which is 5%. And then say you were the listing agent that generated that lead, but they didn't buy your home, but they closed within 90 days, you will get a 10% referral based on that total GCI amount, not the amount that was left over after that 40% was paid to Zillow. Up to this point, this is really new for Zillow. So up to this point, Zillow hasn't done any brand badging when you go to Zillow. It's very much Zillow. So they are going to start doing some brand badging where it will show Keller Williams. Unmute. Can you guys hear me now? Willis, give me a thumbs up. Okay. For buyers and sellers to show them where you sit in the marketplace and why so many choose to do business with KW. So it's just a little added branding that might set you apart from some of your competitors in the marketplace. The fifth and final thing, this days on market and price history seller choice. So this has been hotly discussed in the industry, and there are agents who fall kind of on both sides of how they feel on this. So I found this really interesting. What this means is for days on market, well in preview listing status, the default setting will be that days on market will show. However, you now have the opportunity to toggle that off so that that's not visible how many days on market the property was. So you get to choose that visibility. This allows you as the agent to test the market and kind of change during the preview kind of status, whether you're showing it or not. Same with price history. So if you're questioning how to price the property, people won't be able to see if you increase the price, decrease the price, or anything like that. You'll be able to hide that visibility to your potential buyers. Obviously, then when it comes out of this status and it goes live, you're starting from that clean slate. So then any changes at that point will be visible, but this is a way for you to test the market with your pricing and play around with it without the consumer having any visibility to those price changes. All right, so where does this leave us? We're no longer in a simple MLS-driven market. We are now in kind of a multi-channel competitive ecosystem where sellers want control, agents want leverage, portals want their attention, and the consumers want access. And all those don't always align. So at the end of the day, whoever controls the listing is going to ultimately control that consumer. So I would say what your job is now is it's to understand all of the options. It's to educate your sellers and strategically choose how each listing goes to the market. Because that decision is going to directly impact your exposure, your demand, and your business. So this is the information we have now. The expected rollout time frame for this is going to be, they're saying mid-April. So we're going to get a lot more information the end of the first week of April. I believe April 9th, we have a call where we'll get more information and we'll share it out with you as we get it in terms of how this rolls out and when you're going to have this ability to do this and when you'll start seeing these things show up. But I hope that helps you to kind of start thinking through your options as it relates to how you can market sellers. Yeah.
So you may not know this yet, because how will we opt in or opt out of this status? Because right now all the listings are going in through MLS, right? So
Right. I don't know that yet,
Okay.
but we'll have that update for you as soon as we know. All right, I'm going to wrap us up here. We have a little shorter meeting today. We got a bunch of training and events and some dates for you to mark your calendars for. First up is the new episode of the MREA podcast dropped yesterday. This is with someone out of Minnesota who has built up a big business of properties in Wisconsin and Minnesota, and now doesn't even live in Wisconsin or Minnesota. And she's kind of sharing her journey on how she did this. So great listen if you have a half an hour. Next up, it's our training calendar. We're winding down to this. We'll be launching the April training calendar shortly. If you're going on spring break next week, have a great time. I believe there is no team meeting next week due to so many being out and traveling. Keller Williams exclusives. We have a training happening Tuesday, April 7th with Jenny Klug. And then closing out March for our PC coaching on the 23rd, we're talking about listing presentations and the listing contract. And then it looks like we're going to have a special guest coming up the week after that. We do have an exciting pipeline of some special guest speakers that we're going to be bringing to you here in the spring. So just a little sneak peek on who we have coming up in April. You should have received an email from Kathleen talking about our Camo Crew event where you can invite clients, you can invite other agents. It's an e-recycle event, and we're having it at 2 different locations. So anyone in your database, I know I have like 3 TVs in my basement that I need to get rid of. So I will be attending the one in Germantown. But Saturday, the 18th of April from 10 to 2 at Prestige, and then Saturday, the 2nd of May from 10 to 2 at the New Berlin office. So feel free to share this with your databases. It's completely free to attend and to bring as many people as you'd like. We are looking for some volunteers, so if anyone wants to volunteer, please reach out to leadership on what that would look like. And last but not least, a reminder to make sure that if you have not downloaded our KW Milwaukee app, please do so. A lot of the way in which we communicate with you from a leadership standpoint is being switched to just through that app so that we don't blow you up with text messages and other things. So if you haven't downloaded it, please go ahead and do so. That's what I got for you guys today. Have a wonderful day and safe travels next week if you're traveling. Thank you.